Hello, everyone. Today is July 22nd, 2020. I am Selena from Wisconsin, bringing it full circle with.
I'm Andre Robinson from Western New York. I know what it is. It is bringing it full circle time again with
Again.
my favorite anchor.
Don't look at me like that.
Look at me! Don't look at me.
Don't look at me like that.
How's it going, Selena?
It's going. It's going really good. You know, got some stuff to talk about. Right now, world news. John Lewis, civil rights leader. On Friday, John Lewis, also known as Sharecropper's son, became a giant on the civil rights movement, passed away after a battle with cancer for about a month. He was 80 years old. The longtime Georgia congressman and advocate of harmless protest who had his skull fractured by Alabama state troopers on Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma was the last speaker to survive from 1963's march in Washington. Robert Lewis was an American politician and civil rights leader. He was the U.S. representative for Georgia's 5th congressional district, serving since 1987. He was the dean of Georgia congressional delegation. Lewis, who was a chairman of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, was one of the Big Six leaders of groups who organized the 1963 March on Washington, played many roles in the civil rights movement, and his actions to end legalized racial segregation in the United States. He was a member of the Democratic Party, was also a member of the Democratic leadership of the U.S. House of Representatives, and had served as Chief Deputy Whip since 1991 and Senior Chief Deputy Whip since 2003. Lewis had been awarded many honorary degrees and was the recipient of numerous awards from eminent national and international institutions. In 2010, Obama awarded Lewis the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the nation's highest civilian honor. Lewis was married for 44 years to Lillian Miles, who died in 2012. They have one son, John Miles. Throughout his life and career, Lewis remained steadfast in his dedication to civil rights, and he wrote eloquently about his worldview. I heard Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. say on many occasions, the arc of moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. I still believe we will get there, he wrote in a quote he repeated while speaking out after the death of George Floyd. We will redeem the soul of America, and in doing so, we will inspire people around the world to stand up and speak out. A very inspirational man. How did you take it when you heard about his passing?
How did I take it? I'm gonna be really honest with you.
Okay.
I just heard of this story this morning.
Oh.
In which, again, I want to do more research on the guy so I can get a better outlook on him.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna
Okay.
make any judgments or calls of character upon him yet.
Okay, that's fair enough. Um, I do. I didn't know honestly a lot about John Lewis. But I did from the research I did do. He sounds like he had a lot to do with the civil rights, and he made a lot of changes because of what he's done. And then to be awarded the award from Obama in itself is just the highest national award that he could possibly get. I think speaks volumes. But that is all I have for world news today. So we're going to go into Alabama news.
Alabama news will be coming up shortly. We
Okay.
also have a special guest coming on full circle today. Papa Duck will be here. We will be asking him some questions on a couple different levels. So stay tuned, stay prepared. Bringing it full circle is coming to you live. All right, we are going to bring it. Papa Duck's going to be here. All right, so don't touch that dial. bringing it full circle. All right.
Y'all already know what time it is. You should be hip by now. That's how I get down. 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 Yeah.
All right. We are back. Bringing it full circle is back in the building. Like and share, by the way, for those who are watching on Facebook Live. If you're watching, please like and share. Please like and share. All right. In Alabama news. That's what y'all looking for, right? Yeah, Alabamans, roll tide, all right? Roll tide with me. The Alabama teachers, all right? Alabama teachers are concerned about the safety as they return to school. Yes. On Monday, Governor Kay Ivey awarded $70 million to support the Alabama State Department of Education's Education, Health, and Wellness. The Educational Health Wellness Grant Program and $100 million to support the Educational Remote Learning Devices Grants Program, right? Each local education agency applying for reimbursement under the Education Remote Learning Devices Grant Program prior to expending funds must provide the Alabama State Department of Education a remote learning plan compatible with the devices to be purchased. Also, information to ensure that teachers and instructors are prolific. All right, prolific, yes, with the operations of the devices using technical support. A plan developed by each school to ensure each student has access and availability to the internet, and a plan for maintenance for the devices, including software updates. You know, you got physical repairs, you got replacement of lost and damaged devices as well. All right, Miss Jovina Thomas, a teacher at Sumner Central High School in Livingston, Alabama, stated that the district did a survey with the parents. They wanted their children to do virtual learning. She agrees with the virtual learning. She said that they put great emphasis on education, but it is very important for the safety of the staff and students to take precautionary. I am glad that the district decided to do virtual learning the first 9 weeks. They will be distributing laptops and setting up hotspots. They will be using our buses as mobile hotspots as well. So Alabama is doing a good job in trying to mix both virtual learning, but at the same time, they also have a plan in place to try to get back into the normality of being in schools. Selena, do you like the plan Alabama's got set in place?
It is a lot more information than I've gotten from my district.
So tell me a little bit about that. Tell me a little bit about the information that you've gotten.
Well, that's actually, I believe, in some of my Wisconsin news.
Oh, okay. So we don't want to do that. We definitely do not want to give up Wisconsin news.
Yeah, but it doesn't pertain to Baraboo in particular. We actually have a meeting coming up in Baraboo about what they plan on doing. So I will find out shortly. But at this point, I don't really have any information as in my community.
SWAC's decision to postpone or maybe cancel fall sports. For those who don't know what the SWAC is the Southwestern Athletic Conference. It has postponed its fall athletic competition because of COVID-19 pandemic in hopes to hold a shortened football season during the spring semester. Fall sports impacted, including men's and women's cross-country football, soccer, and women's volleyball. The SWAC is planning a 7-game schedule in football after its 8-week training period, which starts in January. Each team would play 6 league games with the option of one non-conference game. Plans for the other sports in the football championship game will be announced later. The Southwestern Athletic Conference announced the suspension of all fall sports events Monday as the commissioner Dr. Charles McClendon said that the decision affects more than just the SWAT. Schools with no Magic City Classic and the surrounding cities and businesses will miss a large revenue as they receive from the events like this. Yet, it could also mean primetime television slots for schools and players. So there could be some benefits out of the storm. Alabamans, how do you feel about not having the Magic City Classic? Do you think schools should reschedule this big event? If you have any comments or you want to say anything in particular to the Magic City Classic and what's going on with the Southwestern Athletic Conference, you can tweet us at BIF Circle. All right. BIF Circle. You can get us on Twitter. COVID cases. Oh boy. COVID cases as of today, which is Wednesday, July 22nd, 7:22, folks. Alabama has passed the 70,000 mark Wednesday for total cases of COVID-19, while also setting a new single-day record for the most confirmed deaths. Data from the Alabama Department of Public Health shows that Alabama Department of Public Health confirmed 57 more people have died from a result of this pandemic, bringing the state's total to 1,325. It has also been said that another 39 deaths are probable but still under investigation. The state has confirmed 1,338 new cases of COVID today, which is the second day in which the rates were over 1,300. Okay, Alabamans, do you think it's mandatory to wear a mask is enough? Why do you think the numbers are still rising? What can families do to stop the spread? Again, if you have any ideas, please tweet us on BIF Circle so we can get those responses out to you guys so we can respond and let the people know what you think as well. And as you can see right here in this diagram, here is the real actual cases. 70,413 tests, 608,088 deaths right here. We talked about it earlier. 1,325 recovered, 29,736 have recovered. Seems like a merry-go-round with this COVID-19 situation.
Yeah.
Is it maybe that the most effective way to prevent COVID-19 has not been talked about yet? Is there somehow a way that the COVID-19 pandemic that no one has talked about? Is there a way that may be able to be better efficient than just the mandatory mask?
Are you talking about information that hasn't been brought forth to us, or?
Maybe. I mean,
Yeah.
any idea?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a possibility. It's definitely something that I think everybody is starting to question. There are just way too many questions. But also, as far as the experts go, as far as doctors go and nurses go, they're saying this is real. We're seeing this. I've talked to many doctors and nurses, and some hospitals are being overrun. And just because the numbers of deaths are short doesn't mean that hospitals don't get full. I mean, that small percentage is still a lot of people. So I mean, just because the percentage is small doesn't mean that people aren't being affected. It doesn't mean that lives aren't being affected. But yes, I do agree that there's definitely information being held back. I think it's interesting that now the numbers are going to Trump before the CDSC, and now all of a sudden there was a mistake in Florida's numbers, and now the number in Florida is much lower. You know about that?
Yes.
Is that interesting? All of a sudden?
See, these were the same folks that said that COVID-19 wouldn't live in hot weather. Again, won't go there. Getting back into Alabama news, there's more Alabama news. Now, you just heard me talk about the Southwestern Conference, and I actually was supposed to talk about that tomorrow, but I talked about it today. Somewhat, we will get into that a lot more tomorrow as I have more in-depth detail on what's going on with the SWAC as it pertains to their fall sports. Now, 2020 Alabama high school football season, though, will kick off on time. I'm a little bedazzled here. Okay. While educators are concerned about returning to classrooms, the Alabama high school football season will kick off on time this fall. This has many educators puzzled. It had me puzzled because I just told you that college football just told you they're suspending. And now the AHSAA is moving forward with the plans of starting fall camp Monday and playing season openers on August 20th and 21st. The AHSAA Central Board of Control is expected to approve the return to play today. Those plans will define the guidelines policy in which the Central Board is expected to approve sometime today. A little bedazzled by that, folks. I'm a little perturbed. So we just gonna allow high schoolers to play, but not college kids. Are we making up our mind, Alabama? Which one is it? Do you want them to play? Do you not want them to play? You want college folks not to play, or do you want high schoolers not to play? Or should you not have them both play? Selena, I have a theory on this. I think the theory is that younger kids do not catch COVID. I really think that this is the reason why the high school teams aren't going to be able to play, but not the college. If you disagree with that, somebody, you can hit us up on BIF Circle and tell us what you think. But I think it's getting worse, to be very honest with you. But nevertheless,
I am seeing more news. And I don't know if it's true or not. I didn't actually research it very much, but I'm seeing more news of women who were pregnant and had their babies recently who had COVID, and now their babies are very sick. That is just something I've heard. I don't know how prevalent it is, but it should be. We should kind of look into that.
absolutely.
Okay.
Well, we are talking about the seeds we sow with how we manage COVID-19, where there's some more seeds to be sown. Sweet Grown Alabama Day to celebrate local farmers. The special event to celebrate all it's grown happened in Alabama today from 10 a.m. from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. in front of the state capitol. There was a special farmers setup. This event is called Sweet Grown Alabama Day. We are really celebrating just Alabama farmers and what they do to make sure that we are fed, clothed, and have local products, explained Ellie Watson, the director of Sweet Grown Alabama, which is a non-for-profit organization designed to connect Alabama farmers to Alabama families. All right. The Sweet Grown Alabama label isn't limited to produce. All right. Sweet Grown Alabama really encompasses everything grown in our great state. And so, of course, we produce wonderful things like peaches, watermelon, and squash, and okra, but also things like beef that farmers grow as well in Alabama. Things like pecans. Peanut things are grown in the soil in Alabama and on trees here, said Watson. Alabama farmers, what do you think of this program? Do you think this will help increase your revenue? Do you have ideas on how to increase the revenue for yourselves? If you're a farmer, you can hit us on BIF Circle. Should we be trusting products coming from farmers even in a pandemic?
I mean, I do, but I live in Wisconsin. You know, I was just gonna say I live in Wisconsin, and so a lot of the food that was being grown here was gonna get thrown out and was gonna go to waste. And there was a lot of people who were scared about where their next meal was gonna come from since they're not getting unemployment and they lost their jobs. So what do? Do you throw out all this food or do you um distribute it so that families can eat? And that's what something that we were doing here in Wisconsin. A lot of that food got distributed freely because it was going to get thrown out. The farmers just gave it away and they said, somebody, you guys, we need to feed our state.
Now, everybody, we have a special guest here. We told you he was coming. He's here in the flesh. You've seen him pop in and out, but he's coming back. Papa Duck is in the building with us. Hey, Papa Duck, what's going on?
What they do, man?
Hey, Papa Duck, can you tell everybody where you're from?
I'm from Florida, man. Palm Beach County, Belle Glade. Some people may know it. From us playing football. At one point we had the most NFL players in the league at one time, so a lot of people know us from football. Belle Glade, Palm Beach County, Florida.
Awesome. Florida, the Sunshine State. Yeah.
Andre and I are both from Florida.
Ding ding. I have a couple questions for you, Papa Duck. Number one, I want to know how you got started. How you got started in the music business?
Music. I don't know, man. Music was just a passion, man. I think I was just born with it in me. You know what I'm saying? I don't really think there was nothing that persuaded me other than that. Because I sacrificed a lot of things for music. So music was just in me. I was gonna do it regardless.
Papa Duck, I have another question, and I think a lot of people need to know this. I just wanted to know for the people that's out there that might want to do what you're doing. It is very important that people know the sacrifice. So, what did you have to sacrifice?
Oh man, I don't even think the word sacrifice serves the purpose of what we're talking about, because it is put like this up, man. You got to put this got to be your life. You know what I'm saying? For most people anyway. You know what I mean? I'm talking about from sacrificing time with your wife, your baby mama, your children, your dog, your cat. It's like you got to align your life up with your passion and what you believe in. If not, then I don't. Good luck to you.
Who are your favorite artists, and what music have you heard recently that makes you, want to, level up even more?
Man, that's a tough one. A lot of my favorite artists are more the old school artists. The ones that, put that work in. Not saying the ones today don't, but it's just way more easier. Like we can agree with that.
All right, can you name a few?
Outkast, Goody Mob, just people that I really like as an artist. And I ain't gonna lie, I haven't heard nothing today that just really makes me, because we come from a different time of music. Like the way they judge music and musicians today, they wouldn't have made it back well. And that's not to say or discredit them, but it's a different time where artists really sounded like themselves. I never thought it would have come to the point where every artist sound alike. That's what makes it. Let me put this in perspective too. When you had people like DMX, AC, Outkast, Goody Mob, 8-Ball, MJG, the whole Swab House, Trick Daddy, those guys had their own individual style. So you had to get used from one song to the next. So you really don't have to get used to their voice because they sound like everybody else. So it's kind of like it's a bandwagon type style. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to put it in perspective with that. Back when we was coming, like, man, you couldn't sound like nobody else, man. But as we see, that has came to pass.
Right, I totally agree with that. totally agree. It's too many artists that sound like you can't tell who from who. The content of the music is totally different. I think me and you both have grown up in Selena, have all grown up in that 90s, 80s, 90s music wave. So we got the best music.
Yep.
On top of that, we were also taught the 60s and 70s music, which was "Do you like real music?" James Brown and things of that nature. We got to listen to them and the Nas, the Tupac, the Biggies, the Big L's, and things of that nature. So, also that's kind of refreshing to hear somebody actually speak truth on how the music sounds now. It's really refreshing. I know Selena has some questions for you as well.
I do. How are you today, Papa Duck?
I'm good. I'm breathing. I'm good. How you doing?
I'm very good. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Do you think of yourself as an activist as well as a musician?
Yes, of course, I do.
What do you do as an activist? What do you believe in? What are your core values?
I mean, I think my core value is to just I speak to a lot of people on a day-to-day basis, and I've helped people stop from committing suicide. Just being straight up honest with them. I've helped people financially get in better positions as far as their financial situation. Where I've gotten over, I know well over 20 some people to stop working their current job into doing the network marketing programs that I have. I have two different ones that I do give out to people. I just help the best way I can. I donate clothes. I get people that send me clothes. People that had their house burnt down, stuff like that. We donate clothes to them. We feed the homeless. And if they will try to take it to jail for feeding the homeless, so we came up with a clever way to do it. Instead of us feeding the homeless, we throw them a party.
Oh,
So they can't jail. They can't take us to jail. So I just do what I can do. I don't try to put myself out there like I'm some Captain Saver, but I do my part and I'm cool with that.
that's amazing. You have a podcast, correct?
Yeah, I'm on my way to it right now.
What do you discuss in your podcast?
Man, we talk about everything. We talk about life situations. We talk about the governmental issues. Some people want to call it conspiracy or conspiracy theory stuff. But we talk about everything. Tonight, our topic is artificial intelligence. I want people to be aware of what's happening because there's things that I want to get into. I just can't right now. Some people I can. A lot of people I can't because a lot of people are still asleep. If I spoke to them about certain things, they'll be lost and they'll look at me like I'm crazy. But I'm just waking them up a little bit, cracking their eyes open a little bit. So once I get them open, then I can hit them with that steak. I'm just hitting them with that baby food right now. So, but definitely we talk about black spending power, definition of a man. We speak about a lot of different things, man. I didn't want it to be just about one topic. So this podcast here just, man, we do over 10,000 views within the first hour. So it's doing pretty good.
Good. That's amazing. Now, how can people, where can people watch you?
Yeah, every Wednesday at 8:30, we go live on Facebook and on YouTube. So my Facebook is Papa Duck fan page, and my YouTube is Papa Duck 08. Papa
Okay.
Duck 08.
Or that what you can do?
Yeah, also talk about we got another about adrenochrome. If you don't know what adrenochrome is, oh man, this is one of them topics that's real deep that a lot of people who study and know, they know the term adrenochrome, and those who don't know, they're gonna learn. And I suggest you look it up before you watch this podcast. And I think we're gonna do that subject next week. Just throw it out there.
Well, I just want to know: do you work with other artists, and what other artists have you worked with already? If you do,
What other artists have I worked with?
yep. And do you work with other artists?
Artists that I've worked with. Oh man, let me see. I work with I got Rick Ross, Lil Boosie, Scarface, Trina. I got a song with Gucci Mane. I've done production with Plies where we sold over 1 million records. So I'm basically a platinum producer. And thanks to Plies and the whole Atlantic Records for that. I also work with a lot of OJ the Juice. I did some stuff for the Discovery Channel with James Patterson, one of the biggest authors that's out. What else? I work with a lot of people, man. Manny Fresh, got an opportunity to get some tracks from Manny Fresh. And shout out to Tip, T.I. I almost signed over there with T.I. them. But shout out to Tip, the whole Grand Hustle gang, you know what I'm saying? Snake, all them boys over there. But I work with a lot of people, man. Junior Reed, Flo Rida, Briscoe, who y'all may know Briscoe now. He's on Love and Hip Hop Miami. Man, I work with a lot of people.
Awesome.
So you're a busy guy.
Yeah, man. Like my mama say, if you ain't busy, that means you ain't got no bills. If you can sleep all day, then you ain't got no bills. But I just love the thing about it though. It's what I try to tell people, man. When you do what you love, it ain't work. So I haven't worked. I don't remember the last time I had a boss. Not saying that not having a boss is a bad thing, but I just do what I love, and I found a way to monetize it, and I help other people do the same. We only got one life to live, so might as well live it to the fullest.
That's amazing. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us here today. We really appreciate it so that we can help everybody can hear what you have and what you've done and how you rise up for your community.
Y'all can have me anytime y'all want. We can do a full interview, however y'all want to do it. Y'all got me. Come on.
By the way, check him out on YouTube. This is Dope Boy by Papa Duck right here. So check it out. Go on YouTube, check out his music, all right?
Pull up to a job, lunch break like wedding.
Papa Duck, we want to thank you for coming on, man. Appreciate you bringing it full circle with us.
Niggas try to holler, get the fake number. And hoes around the town, they be hating on them.
All right. With that being said, we want to thank Papa Duck again. Shout out to the Florida area.
Putting too much into it. Yeah. Let's get this fire started. Sports became my passion. Convo bring it to life, highlighting all the action. Opinions could explode like a chemical reaction. If we started from the bottom, now rise up the newest caption. Man, it's known that every team and every person got an emphasis. But this that similarity that smokes all of our differences. Statements can get real, better back it up with evidence. Prove it for the record, watch this hour of deliverance. Haters outside the lines, but we do it quite frankly. Cause I'm around the horn, so just part the interruption. Cause the hatred they be spreading is an unwanted production. Plus I gotta do it all, and it ain't up for discussion. Man, and blood, sweat, and tears, man, they measure up my accolades.
And there's something about the way your love shines on my face. Oh no, I can never get enough of you. This feeling can't be wrong. I'm about to get my worship on. I'm gonna sing a brand new song. Yeah, I'm about to get my worship on. Take me away on this beautiful day. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a beautiful day. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a beautiful day. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a beautiful day. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Such a beautiful day.
All right. We are back, bringing it full circle. Again, we want to thank Papa Duck for coming here and gracing us with his time. Selena,
What's up?
I think it's time to cut the cheese, bring Wisconsin news to the forefront.
You do you?
Yes, I do.
All right. Here we go. All right. So First, we're going to talk about going back to school. School in Wisconsin is back in session. Tony Evers, governor, signaled Tuesday he won't block in-person school this fall. He says, I believe that we can open schools, so I'm not in any position to say we're going or we're not going to. I'm not going to order them closed. The Democratic governor told reporters in a conference call. I'm still optimistic that they can open and there's a lot of options. If people really want those schools to be open, we all need to pay attention to the virus, pay attention to our own health, and then it will be much easier for them to safely open, he said. Evers said he would be inclined to suggest schools to close only if things were completely out of control, and he raised questions about whether he had the power to shut them down on his own anyway. The state Supreme Court in May threw out Evers' administration's stay-at-home order, but did not address in that ruling what power the governor has over schools. I'm just going to stop right there for a second because the state Supreme Court has been blocking our governor at every turn anyway, so that's probably why he's not going to block this in any way, shape, or form, because he's going to get blocked in any decision he makes. Because the court explicitly said its ruling did not address schools, some have argued Evers has the power to close them down if he wants, but Evers seems wary of this argument because of a possibility of a future court ruling on the issue. The court's ruling against Evers on the stay-at-home order was 4-3. One of the justices who ruled against Evers, conservative Daniel Kelly, will be replaced next month by liberal Jill Karofsky, who beat him in an April election. According to Evers, parents should plan to have their kids in school this fall, but added the choices may be made by local officials. He had good things to say about Milwaukee's public school plan to start in the fall with virtual classes and an eventual return to classroom, but he noted other districts will take a different approach. So, Andre, that is the Wisconsin news as far as opening schools up. Our governor is he's not going to block schools opening up, basically because even if he did, his hands are tied. Although with this new justice coming in, that could change. Some favors could change where he actually where he might actually be able to go through with anything that he says, and his hands won't be tied. But right now, he's not blocking it. So that answers your question from earlier. Okay. Back. I can't hear you. Oh, your mic's off.
Looks like he's getting blocked. Blocked. A lot of blockage.
At every turn, he can't do his job. So that's where Wisconsin's at. Our Supreme Court is mostly Republican and he's Democratic. And when he got voted into office, Scott Walker, our previous governor, and the Republican Party put in the Lame Duck Act, which basically said that Governor Evers can't go forward and remove anything or do anything at all. It was a big scandal. But anyway, on a lighter, tipsy note, Wisconsin, beer, brats, and cheese. Those are things that we love in Wisconsin, except now we have something new and unique to the dairy state, at the dairy state. Vineyard Week highlighted wines and grapes to put Wisconsin on the map again. So beer, brats, and cheese, and wine. Yum. Okay. So during the week of July 13th through 18th, closing the gap between the harvest season, the Wisconsin Grape Growers Association celebrated its second annual event. Wine in Wisconsin is always a strange statement, but there are many grapes that are specifically bred to withstand cold Wisconsin winters. The co-owner of Borsheim Winery and Distillery, Philip Concord, said this. He participated in the week by opening the vineyard to the public. Governor Tony Evers declared the first Vineyard Wine Week last year, citing more than 200 vineyards around Wisconsin, ensuring a robust future in the Wisconsin tourism industry. Some said this year the coronavirus played an unlikely role in encouraging local tourism. Why go to Napa Valley when you can come to Prairie du Sac? Traveling locally, discovering what is to be offered in the tourism industry locally is great for Wisconsin, Coker explained. The owner of Bailey's Run Vineyard in New Glarus, Janet Cool, said, I think the public was ready for something like Vineyard Week. It's something they could do while social distancing. They could wear masks. They could feel safe. This is homegrown. This is from our state. We can do this, and it makes fantastic wine, she says. On Saturday, Vineyard Week ended, but local wineries are open for tastings and tourisms all summer. Some are making rules due to the coronavirus, so they recommended calling or checking websites first before a visit. Andre, do you drink wine? We actually, I've been to Wollersheim. That was, that is right in the next town over from me. I've been to Wollersheim and the winery and distillery, and I recommend anybody who lives in Wisconsin who hasn't been there to go. As far as social distancing and whatnot, it's very easy to do there.
You asked me, do I drink wine? No, I don't.
Never?
I have. Yes.
You have? Yeah, you just,
Moscato.
yeah. Okay, I love wine.
Mm.
You don't even look surprised.
No, I was about to ask you what kind of wine.
So I really, well, my stepdad used to make wine, and so I really enjoy. He made berry wines, and they were very sweet. So I like anything on the sweeter side. Usually now it's a Moscato, which is a sweet wine, and Wollersheim makes one of my favorites. It's a super sweet wine that can only be produced in the colder months of the year. But yeah, I like sweet wine.
Awesome.
Yep. Okay. We are on to you with New York news.
All right, New York news coming up in just a moment. You know what to do. Hold your horses. 716, we coming. All right, 716, Western New York region, we coming after the break.
33. Choice in the backfield, going deep, and they've got T.J. Graham. He takes it inside the 25. He's working on.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Dad Lewis, and check out sports shows on the fastest growing streaming TV network, the OnPoint Network. You can stream it on Roku, Amazon, Fire Stick, Apple TV, Xbox, YouTube, and Facebook. Download the OnPoint channel and network app to any smart device. It's free, everybody. It's free.
All right, we back, bringing it full circle. Western New York, stand up. Come on, 716. All right, if you're on Facebook, man, put some likes and hearts in the air right now for yourself.
Do it.
Everybody who's, yep, absolutely, and everybody.
Do it.
All right, we got news. We got plenty of news coming out of Western New York. First and foremost, I will start off Western New York news with some somber news. So, in Allegheny County, 4 men have been indicted in the connection of the death of Nicholas Burrage. This past March, New York State Police found the body of 23-year-old victim off the shore of Genesee River in the town of Willing. His body was wrapped in a sheet and garbage bags. Dylan Krumer, Brandon Pomel, Howard Burrows, and a fourth person whose name was retracted from court documents is facing murder charges, manslaughter, kidnapping, assault, and conspiracy. According to the indictment, they duct taped Burrows' body to a chair, put a pillowcase over his head, and put a washcloth in his mouth before beating him to death. Officials say this happened inside of a home on Main Street in Wellsville. Attorneys representing Croomer are trying to dismiss the indictment of their client. We will have more on this story as we get it here. You know what we like to do? We like to bring it full circle. All right. So when we got more, you will get more on that story. But 4 people have been indicted. All right. 4 people have been indicted. Now, mind you, pay attention. That was in the town of Willing. All right. In other news, while the new Buffalo region has not seen a major surge in COVID-19 infections among the homeless, federal money is being allocated to keep these numbers down. All right. Erie County has received over $1.5 million of stimulus money to support emergency shelters and homeless population, as well as a $320,000 grant for local food pantry assistance. I am very interested to see where this money goes, by the way, and who it goes to. I think I'm gonna look into that a little bit. This funding provides vital support to the county residents who are facing housing or food-related challenges due to COVID-19 pandemic, said your executive Erie County guy, Mark Poligert. This money will be used for housing reallocation, and rent assistance for people living in shelters or in places not meant for human habitation, or for individuals at risk of becoming homeless. Homeless shelters expenses include maintenance, rent, food, utilities necessary for shelter operations. When there's no shelter that is unavailable, the eligible costs may include a hotel, a motel voucher for homeless folks, financial assistance for 21 area food pantries to buy equipment and food for Feed More Western New York. All right. Also, housing counseling services will receive over $100,000 to support nonprofit agencies assisting residents with those who are mortgage burdened or rent burdened. Selena, I have an interesting question for you as it pertains to Erie County. Do you really think these funds are going to be allocated to those folks? By the way, I will be doing some checkup on that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to see the checkup on it because I just don't have a lot of faith right now.
Me either, especially when it comes down to Western New York.
I want to be positive, but I just don't have a lot of faith right now. Hope for the best and expect the worst.
Yeah, I would love to have a lot of faith, but then again, we've had stories for a while now with the allocating of funds in Western New York. We're gonna have to see. I'm gonna have to see some people, some homeless folks, actually in some hotels. Maybe I'll go to a couple of these hotels and see if they're taking in homeless.
Yeah, that would be good. That would be good to see. Actually, like, physically.
I think I'll be doing some on the field work this week. All right. Now, with that being said, we have the teachers union to talk about. Buffalo Teachers Federation President Phil Rumer says he was left with more questions than answers after looking at the Buffalo Public School District draft reopening plan. That's not good. On Friday, we definitely were presented with a document that was called Reopening Plan. It's a plan for nothing, which contains no definitive actions which have to be taken, said Rumer. Schools must submit their reopening plans to the state by the end of the month. Rumer is concerned 2 weeks isn't enough time for the district to get everything in order. How do you make sure that these social distancing situations occur on buses and transportation? How do you have class sizes when we haven't even got enough room for all the kids? What do you do if a child comes in contact with the virus? What do you do then? There's absolutely no detail, and there's only 2 weeks left. But officials with the Buffalo Public School Board says that the draft was just a start, and they will be able to add more details when it is clear, when they have a clear decision from the state on what will happen this fall. District leaders plan to meet again this week to hammer out more details leading to the July 31st deadline. But school officials say it just doesn't end there. Once the governor makes his decision, probably in the first week of August, we will take our plan, refine it even more with greater specific. So we are drilling down to the nitty gritty of what we're doing in each of our buildings, says Dr. Brown Hall, who is the chief of staff for the Buffalo Public Schools. Rumor said that if teachers don't agree on this district plan, they could be heading to the courtroom instead of the classroom. If there's not a plan that we feel is safe, we will file a grievance, then go to court to try to get an adjunctive relief to prevent that plan from going forward. If they ultimately do come up with a plan, the teachers will vote on it. And I think if we think it's dangerous and not good, doesn't make educational sense, we'll have to do what we have to do. All right. I want to shout out Marnie Tuskus for that. Thank you very much, Marnie. Selena, here we go again with the question of kids going to school. Should kids be going to school this fall?
I don't know. Any option thrown out there is like scary to a parent, I think. I don't know. It depends on what you believe and what you don't believe, or what, facts are being brought forth and what you believe is truthful. And I don't know. What do you think?
I like how you just was totally passive on that question. How you just deflected the question. It's all good though.
I've told you before what I'm going to do. She's staying home.
There you go. That's the ding 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 ding. There's the answer I was looking for.
Okay,
there it is.
You should ask me that.
There it is. I said, Selena, how do you feel about? You know what? It's okay because you know what? Selena's right though. It is an interesting situation here. We have to definitely measure the metrics of what's going on here as far as COVID and the plans that are being placed. Obviously, Western New York doesn't have too many plans in place right now.
Mhm.
We heard him say the courtroom is coming next, the People's Court. Yeah.
Well, see, the only thing is I'm the only one who knows she's staying home right now. I haven't brought this up to her yet. So that's that's a whole other can of worms. We've talked about it, but I want her to stay home.
And why do you want her to stay home, Selena?
There's a lot of reasons, I went through a lot of loss through COVID. And granted, none of it was virus related. I don't want to hurt my grandma who has an autoimmune system. I don't want it to go back to my grandma in any way, shape, or form. And Brooklyn understands that. So,
we are all waiting for that decision, Selena. We were all waiting. All right, I have my thoughts. My son is not going to school.
Okay. Does he know that? Does he know that though?
Oh no. We've had conversations.
Right. So what about now? Here's a question then. Now, what about when we talk to our kids and they want to go back, or they want to do half and half, like half virtual and half going back to school? Because my daughter is 16, so I can say she's going to stay home, and I ultimately can make that decision. But that's going to be a battle. Then what?
That's interesting because we both have 16-year-old kids.
Right.
Well, then Jeremiah's gonna have to write me out a nice proposal on how he's gonna keep himself safe.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Andre, that's a really good idea. Yeah. Like the Bing Bang and Bongo type essay. Sorry, that's something I learned in middle school.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I want it well thought out with reasons, the whole 9 yards. You got to give me some premise too.
That's such a good idea.
Absolutely.
And then when she fights me on that, I'm going to say, listen, it was Andre's idea.
It's either that or you don't go to school.
Yeah.
You'll be bringing it full circle at home. Learning.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right. So we got more news as an investigation obtained civil rights case disposition against Buffalo police officers. Obviously, an East Side man continues to battle the city of Buffalo in a court case that alleges civil rights violations. James Kitchener says he was struck by a police vehicle on New Year's Day in 2017, but the officer behind the wheel says Kitchener threw himself into the vehicle. You know, somebody just threw himself into the vehicle. All right. Well, investigators have obtained the civil case disposition of the officer being questioned by Kisner's attorney. More of that recorded testimony and a legal analysis question of the police version you will get to see real soon. I might bring it here tomorrow. All right. I'm bringing it full circle. More news in Western New York. I know, a lot of news, right? A lot of news. Too much news to go around, right? Well, Buffalo police discovered a body. They discovered a body Wednesday morning, obviously on Main Street. And it's interesting because earlier we talked about a situation that happened in Wellsville on Main Street. But now in Buffalo, they had a situation here with the Buffalo police who had to respond to a call on the 2200 block of Main Street just this morning at 7:30. At the scene, 2268 Main, police discovered a body in the home. The cause of death is definitely being investigated by the Buffalo police. I'm just wondering, is this going to be solved? Selena. My last question to you before we go, because we are running out of time. We've been bringing it full circle for an hour now. My question to you is, do you think certain places have more motivation to solve homicides than other places?
More what?
Motivation to solve homicides than other places do. So, perfect example, Wisconsin and Buffalo, right? Do you think that Wisconsin has a plan in place that motivates police officers to solve homicides?
That's something I would have to research on in Wisconsin. I've heard some shady stuff about, well, you know what? No, because in Wisconsin, we have a lot of Native Americans here, and there are a lot of Native American women, children, men who go missing, and they're never solved. Never. They're not even looked at. There's one case in particular where the man he was a Native American man, and the last people to see him were the police running into the woods. And that was in 2012, and he's since disappeared. Nobody has ever seen him again. Locally in Baraboo. No, I don't. Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, tomorrow's show will be very interesting. Citizens' Voice will be on the docket. We may have Rise Up tomorrow. We will bring it full circle again tomorrow with you guys. This has been very interesting. If you have anything you want to tell us, you want to say, any comments, questions, thoughts, tweet us, BIF Circle. All right. Or you can hit us on Facebook
Or email
or email.
bringingitfullcircle@gmail.com.
Yes.
Like to hear from you.
Definitely would love to hear from you. I am Andre the George Robinson.
I am Selena Seibert in Wisconsin.